So we got a lot happen. All the tools are all broken out. But basically what happened is
4 years of living on the road, hitting some epic trails, using this thing how it was built, taking it up King of the Hammers. Well, some of the easier trails. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened and what we're going to have to do to get this fixed.
not supposed to be like that. And it's not supposed to be missing those knuckle bolts. We got a little bit of a problem here. Good thing is, I was visiting my friend Happy with Happy's Trails, and I was making a turn in his driveway when I heard a loud pop. And when I heard the loud pop, I got out to see what was going on, and this is what I found. So I've got my tools out. I'm not that far from where I keep my cargo trailer, so my cargo trailer is being delivered here today because it has all my big tools in it, and we will get this completely torn down, torn apart, and take the knuckle in town, get new knuckle studs put on it, and get it all put back together again. If this would have happened on the highway, this would be a very different story. So I am very thankful this happened where it happened, and I'm going to be able to get it all repaired. This thing I've got set up because it's going to get really hot today, and I just want the sun off my back while I'm working on it. That's our story for today. Lily, thank you. Well, we got her all taken apart. This is the knuckle. These are the, on the other side, these are the ones that broke. So they have to be extracted out of the knuckle. And this is all the bits and pieces and parts, and trying to keep stuff in bags to keep it somewhat clean. I also have to replace the bearings and the bearing races that sit in here, and I need to replace that seal, so the bearing races and the seal. And then I just gotta make sure everything's good and clean before it goes back in. I'm sure they'll clean the knuckle up for me at the shop when I take it down, so not too bad. Got my cargo trailer over here, down over that way, and that managed to get all my big tools, floor jack, and all that kind of stuff that I needed. And Lily has been pretty patient, huh, Stinker? You've been pretty patient? Yeah? You don't dare try to pet her though, because my hands were so greasy. So we'll get this taken care of, and we're putting ARP studs in it, and I've heard that's the way to go to make it bulletproof. So we're gonna spend the extra money and do that, and then we'll have this beast back on the road. Basically what happened is, this is the steering arm, or high steer arm, and all three of these bolts snapped. So I only had one left. So I'm replacing these with ARPs, which are very expensive, but supposedly these are the best and it won't happen again. And we're getting everything greased and ready to go, and got a new seal in here. Kingpin bearings, because this had loosened. The upper kingpin bearing race was pitted, so I got all new kingpin bearings to go in there also. This happened right where it's sitting. So I had come to visit my buddy, was making a U-turn, and as I was making a U-turn I heard a really big pop, and it wasn't normal. So I came out here to look. First thing I thought is maybe the frame cracked, so I started looking for cracks on the frame, couldn't see anything. Then I thought, okay, well, maybe the something to do with one of the shocks popped, one of the welds or something. So I looked at that, no, nothing was good. And then I started looking at the steering, and that's when I saw that it had pulled up and all three of the bolts were gone. So if that would have happened on the highway, it could have been pretty bad. So I'm glad it happened where it happened. It took about a week to get the parts in, so I've just been camping out here with my buddy. Now we're getting it all put back together again. Well, get back on the road. ARPs. covered as we could because of the dust here. So you want to look at this, make sure there's no grooves worn in, because that's where your seal lies. Trying to kind of push it in here, which will push out any old stuff towards the outside. And these takes two different kind of greases, so your bearings take a bearing grease, and your CD takes a high pressure grease, which is moly. So I have a big brake kit on this. I use Tundra brakes and rotors. So that's what this is for. This is a little bit different than other rigs. Got to be able to stop. After taking and torquing this guy to 43 foot-pounds, spinning it, releasing it, spinning it. You do that 4 times back and forth, adjusting the spindle nut. Once you get it to the last one, torque it down to 21 foot-pounds, put your retainer washer on, put the clips in on both sides, and then tighten the other spindle nut down, and you're good as far as this part of it goes. And then you just have the hub assembly to put on. But it's getting pretty hot out here, and I don't do well in the heat, so it looks like the shade is just about ready to come over my shade awning here, so I think I'm gonna hold off on doing the rest until it cools down a little bit. Been hanging out at Happy's, getting, well, a bunch of stuff done, and had to adjust my locks and stuff like that. And of course we had to fix the front tire and do that, and just a bunch of little stuff getting done. And I had to reseal these things, well, not reseal these, but reseal the openings because water was getting in here. Just little maintenance stuff. And then Phil cruised by saying hello, and
Phil is here checking out this Fuso that might end up being his new travel rig that belongs to our buddy Happy. But you're gonna have to tune in next week for that one.